Hello again. This is Joshua, a Microsoft support technical support engineer from Microsoft customers. All right. So today we'll be talking about MongoDB querying. This is quite different from my usual tutorials, right? So we're going to be talking about the MongoDB querying, and we're going to be resolving some exercises, right, from 1 to 10. So let me show you the exercises we're going to be working with. So this is the resource, w3resource.com, MongoDB slash exercises. So this is giving us a series of collections to work with, right? Three different collections. The first one is the restaurant collections, listing and reviews, and movie collections. So we're going to be focusing on the first one, restaurants collections, right? Having a total of 87 exercises, right? So we're going to be dealing with that. So this is the database for this exercise, right? So you can click on this and it downloads this. So what you need to do is to import this into your MongoDB database. So I assume you have the MongoDB installed on your PC. I have mine installed already, and I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code for these exercises, right? Exercises. So let's see. So this is actually a beginners slash intermediate level exercises, right? All right. So the first step is, according to this, what is MongoDB? So MongoDB is a free and open source cross-platform document-oriented database, right? Classified as a NoSQL database, which means it is not the conventional relational database model we used to know, right? Like the likes of MySQL, MS SQL, your Postgres, and the rest, Oracle database as well. Those are all traditional relational database models. Why the MongoDB is strictly object oriented. By object oriented, it simply means that data is being stored right in object form. So when we say object form, this is a classical example. So based on this collection, this is the structure. So I simply just copied this out, right, and pasted it in here in my Visual Studio Code, right? So first of all, what is an object? An object in JavaScript, right? Because basically this is simply a JSON data format, which is JSON, which means JavaScript objects notation, right? So this is basically a JavaScript file, a JSON file. So an object simply contains variables and values, right? And how do you know an object? It is classified by having an opening and a closing coily braces. Coily brace. So the opening coily brace and the closing coily brace. This is an object, right? So let's focus on the structure of our collection before we begin to query the collection. So the first thing you can see here is the address. The address is a variable holding an object. Like I said before, this is an object. Why is this an object? It has an opening and a closing coily brace, right? So in this objects, in this address objects, we have some variables and some values. So the key and the value. So the building is a key which has a value of 1007. The coordinate is a key which has this value. The street is a key which has this value, and the zip code this value. So this is the first object in these documents, right? So the second one will be the borough of Bronx, right? The cuisine of bakery, and the grades. Now, if you look at these grades here, right? This is a collection of objects, right? So in other words, this is an array of objects. So how do you represent an array? Square brackets, which is this, right? So this is an array, while this is an object. So in JavaScript, you denote an object by using an opening and closing curly braces, while an array with opening and closing square brackets, right? So this is our structure. This is our document structure. So I come again. This is an object, contains an object, right? A key and a value, another key and a value, then an array of grades. So this is the grades key, right? Containing an array. Why is this an array? Because it has the opening and the closing square brackets, right? So an array of what? Like I said before, an array of objects. Why is this an object? Because it has an opening and a closing curly brace, right? So our document structure contains an array, an address objects, borough and cuisine keys, and a grade array containing um, series of grade objects. Then the name of the restaurant in this case, then the restaurant ID is this. So this is the structure of our documents. So it is important to know the structure of your document so you can know how to query accordingly without making mistakes or to minimize errors in your querying. All right, so let's get to it. So the first exercise here is write a MongoDB query to display all documents in the query in the collections restaurant. Let's go back to our scripts. Yeah, right. So typically, to query a database, this is how it is. This is how you do it. We use the find function, the find. So what this is saying is DB means database, right? The Mongo database dot the collection name. So how do you find values or how do you query your collection for documents, specific documents? What you do is you tell MongoDB, right, to get the collection name, then find the conditions and variables to be displayed, right? So now, if you notice this, you're going to see that we're going to be using the dot notation a lot, the period notation. So this is DB stands for database, then the period means get into it, right? So in MongoDB, the dots or the period notation, which is this, right? Which is this, simply means enter, enter, sorry about that, enter or locate, right? So what we are doing in SS, whenever we put the period symbol, we are telling MongoDB to enter or to dive into or to locate, right? What is inside what what is inside the object before the dots. So what this means is database dot restaurants. It means MongoDB should go into its database, right? Then after entering the database, right, locate the restaurant collection. After locating the restaurant collection, enter into the collection and find something, right? So that is what the period notation stands for. To delve into something, to enter into something, or to locate something inside a database, a collection, or a document, right? So we're going to be using the dot notation a lot when it comes to MongoDB querying. So first things first, let's go back. So this is telling us to write a MongoDB query to display all documents in the collection, all documents. Now this brings us to our next to my next explanation. So when you're querying the database, right, you need to understand the structure. And before you understand the structure, you need to set up your database, right? You need to connect to your database. So you can connect to your database to your MongoDB after installation via the PowerShell commandlets. You could use your commandlet cmd, assuming you're working on a Windows PC. So this is it. So you locate the folder where it is installed and run Mongo shell from there. In this case, it was installed in my programs and files, cd mongo, clear screen, cd, let's list what is inside. Okay, not there, dir. So we enter into server, clear screen, list directory, cd7, clear screen, list directory, cd bin, clear screen, this directory. So you can see that we have all of this installed already, right? So if you want to install this, just go to MongoDB on your browser, right? MongoDB installation, and you're going to be given the resource, right? And the steps to downloading this. I'm not going to go through this because of the length of this video. I don't want to extend a certain length time limits. So I'm assuming you have all this installed already. So what you need to do is to run mongosh, which is this guy here, right here. So what you do is you paste it in, right? So to run this, you put, let's just delete this, clear screen. So we'll type mongosh, then you hit your tab key, tab, right? It does this for you. Then the backward slash to run this. You can see, so this is running right here now, right? So this is the database in question, and you can start running your command, or you can use your Visual Studio Code, which is this, the same thing we just did here, and we're good to go. But before you do this, just in case it's your first time, right? You first of all need to run your MongoD server first. So the first thing is to run your MongoD server before you open a new shell to run your Mongoose shell, right? So you go back to the programs and files, your tab key, files, cd mongo, cls, cd server, clear screen. I always like to use this clear screen so as to give me a clearer screen, right? To avoid noise. So dir list directory, cd into 7.0, clear screen, dir, cd into the bin directory, clear screen, dir. So this is the first thing you run, mongod, which is mongod.exe. After that, you open up a new shell, then run mongosh.exe. So I'm not going to be using this because I prefer to use the Visual Studio Code, right? It's clear and it's beautiful, and it has a lot of functionalities. So right here we are currently connected to the test database, right? This is where our restaurant collection was installed. So let's see. So let's show all collections. So what do? You type in show collections, enter. So this is the collections we have in our database, right? So let's right click on that and copy, right? So how do we query the database? Let's see. So it says write a MongoDB query to display all documents in the collections restaurants. So all documents in MongoDB, each record is called a document, right? As opposed to calling it just a record like you have in your relational database model, right? In the tabular format. But this is in JSON format. So we use collections here a lot as opposed to using a record, right? We're going to be using documents as opposed to using records. So in this case, we'll come back to here, right? So how do we query the MongoDB database? The first thing is you write in your DB, you write DB, then you put in the collection name, then you find, then the conditions, right? Then variables to be displayed. So let's copy this out and see how it goes. You copy this out, you come back here and you paste. So we're going to be working on this shell, right? So they said get every single thing. So how do you query? How do you change this to a runnable command, right? To a command that can be executed. Because if you try to execute this right now, right here, you're gonna get an error, unexpected, right? So this is not pertaining to this. We need to edit this, right, to be able to suit our data, right? So let's clear screen one more time. So we'll come in here. So what were we asked to do? We were asked to display all documents in the collection restaurants. All documents. So we come in here. So what is our collection name? Remember, this is it here. If you don't know that, just type in this command, show collections, and it will give you the collections. So this is the collections we're going to be working with. So you can have lots of collections depending on what you're working on. So you come in here, you replace collection name with restaurants. Okay, that didn't go well. Restaurants. Okay, copy this out. Okay, delete this, then paste this. So db.restaurants.find. So what is the condition? No condition, just get everything. So we're going to delete this. We'll leave it empty. So what is the variables to display? Variables to be displayed. Okay, so we can choose to display just the name, right? You can see this is a typical document, right? This is a typical document. So let's assume we don't want to display, we want to display everything. So you leave this blank for now. Then we'll copy this out, copy. Then we'll come in here and paste, copy, Control C, paste, run. You can see it gave us a lot of things, right? That is really not readable, right? So we want to make this readable, right? So let's display just the name alone, just the name of the restaurant. So the name of this restaurant, for example, is C&C Catering Service. If you scroll up again, you see the next one. The name of this one is Carvel Ice Cream. You scroll up again, you see the rest. The name of this one should be Nordic Delicacies, right? So we don't want this, we don't want unnecessary data. We just want the names of the restaurants, right? So we copy out the name, right? Then we'll come in here, open your quotation marks, then put in the name, then the colon, then one. Now, why are we doing this? So what this is saying is MongoDB, give us a restaurant, go to our collections, our restaurants collections, and find all documents. This is empty, right? Because we're not giving a condition. So when you don't give a condition in this first object notation, right, it gives you everything in the database. So get everything in this collection, right? After getting them, don't list out every single property of all documents, right? Just get us the name. The name alone is enough. Just the name, right? So what is the name? Giving us a value of one. So one means it's a Boolean attribute, right? The conditions here are Boolean. So what it means is one means to display something, while zero means to hide. In this case, we are saying that we explicitly want the name to be visible. That is what this is saying. So it's saying MongoDB, go to our restaurants collection, find all documents, right? And print just the name, display just the name. So let's run this and see. Copy, come in here, paste. So you can see, right? It's giving us the name. So it's giving us an array of objects. Like I said before, this is an array. How do you know it's an array? It has the square braces, the square bracket, sorry, right? So an array of objects. How is this an object? It has the curly brace. So this is an object, another object, another object, another object. So this is an array of objects. Now let's see what we have here. We're having an ID. If you observe this, each object, right, has an ID attached to it. So an ID of object, ID of this with the name, right? But remember, we only specify just the name. So how come MongoDB is giving us an ID object as well? We don't want that, right? So this is a default behavior of MongoDB. You need to explicitly tell MongoDB not to show this, to hide the ID, the ID variable, right? Because it does this automatically. So if you don't want this to show up, you need to explicitly tell MongoDB to hide this value, right? So we do it here. And again, how do we hide the value? Control V, a value of 0. So 1 means to show the name, to show, in this case, show the name, while 0 means to hide. In this case, hide the ID, the underscore ID value. We don't want to see it. So we do this and we paste. Now you can see that we have just the name as required. All right, so we can see, right? So these are all um, the names, right? The records, the documents, right? Present here. If you observe it, this is really not all the list, right? You can see type it for more. So when you type in IT, it gives you more. You can see more and more. You keep typing IT, gives you more and more, right? So this is what we're looking for. How do I know this is more than less than what we have is because the document has a total, the collection has a total of 3,700 and what? You can see 772 documents. The collection comprises of this. So it means 3,772 records are present. How do we find out? How do we confirm that? By simply coming in here and saying db dot restaurant, right? Dot count documents function. So you see, so this is giving us 3,772 documents. You can see, so by using this function, count documents function, we're able to confirm that truly all of this, right, is a total or amounts to 3,772 documents. Cool. So this is the first query, number one, the first query for this, the first answer for this first question. So number two would be write a query to display the fields. So what fields are we displaying? The restaurant ID, which is this, the name, the borough, and the cuisine. So let's copy this out. Come in here, number two. Number. All right. So let's get to it. So we copy out the same command, quite the same thing, and you paste it in, right? So we want to display, we want to get everything at the same time, display just the restaurant ID, which is this guy here, restaurant ID. So you copy this out, you replace it with this. So show the restaurant ID. Let's move this a little. Show the restaurant ID. The next one is the name. Come in here, paste in the name, visibility, turn on. The borough, come in here, visibility 1. Then the cuisine, paste in here, visibility of what? 1. Visibility of 1, right? So what we're saying is MongoDB, go to our collections, restaurant collection, and find all documents, right? After finding all documents, kindly display the restaurant ID, the name of the restaurant, the borough, the cuisine, right? And ensure to hide the ID variable. We don't need that, right? So let's run this and Control C, paste and run. So we can see here, right? So what we did here was to get every restaurant, which is an object in this case, get the restaurant ID, name, borough, and cuisine. Borough, cuisine, name, restaurant ID, right? As requested. So this is it. So you can type it for more if you want to see more, and that's that. So number three, solution number three. The next one is write a query to display the fields, the same fields like before, but exclude the field ID for all documents in the collection rest. Okay, we've done that already implicitly, right? Because initially, let's do this. So let's get this out of the way. So this command is the same as the previous one. I did that already. So if we don't have the ID here, then this would be, let's run this again. So you can see this contains the ID, the borough, the cuisine, the name, and the restaurant ID. In the second case, you copy this out. This doesn't contain the ID. So this is it. So number four. Number four would be write a query to display the fields restaurant ID, name, borough, but exclude. Okay, I think we've done that already. Oh, this is four. It's 1, 2. Okay. Okay, number 4. So we want the same as before, but this time around, you're going to replace cuisine with zip code. In this case, zip code. So you replace cuisine with zip code. Close this a little. Copy the same command right here. You paste it. Right? Let's see. Oh, this is 25 minutes already. Okay. So we're going to be replacing, I think, replacing cuisine. Yeah, with zip code. So where's the cuisine? Replace. So where is the zip code in our structure? This is where we have the zip code. But mind you, the zip code is present inside the address variable, the address object. So to access the zip code, what you need to do is to type in address dot zip code. Remember I told you that the dot notation or the period notation, right, simply means to get into something, to enter into something, like I did here, to enter into something, or to locate, right? To locate. In this case, to locate your zip code, you need to do what? Get into the address. From the address, then you can locate the zip code. So in that case, it will be address dot zip code. All right. So address, copy that out. Zip code, copy that out. Then you come in here, replace this with address dot zip code. All right. This is it. So we do this, then we copy this out, run again. All right. So we can see from here, after running this command, we were able to get the address, right? The zip code of what? 10021, like I said. So to get the zip code, all you need to do is to type in address dot zip code, right? You're going to get the zip code value, address dot zip code, address dot zip code. And that's that. Number 5. Write a Mongo query to display all restaurants which is in the borough Bronx, the Bronx borough. Let's do that. So where is the borough? This is the borough, right? So the borough of Bronx. All right. So up until now, we've not been using the condition objects, right? The condition object. Now we're going to be using it. Okay. So we'll do db.find. We're going to copy this out again. Copy db.find. So we're looking for all restaurants, right? All, all restaurants that is present in the borough, in the Bronx borough. Okay, Bronx borough. So we just copy this out. No need to start typing. You come in here and you paste it. So this is saying MongoDB, right? Locate our collections and find all restaurants, right? Present in the Bronx borough. MongoDB locates our collections called restaurants and find all restaurants, right, present in the Bronx borough. That's it. Present in the Bronx borough. So in this case, I'm going to be listing the name, right? Display the name and hide the object ID. So we'll copy this out. You come in here, you paste, right? So we can see from here. So all of these are present, right? All of these are the restaurants in the Bronx borough. How do we confirm that? Let's display the borough so we can see for sure. Copy this out. You come in here, the name, the borough, visibility of 1. Then we'll run this. Control C, paste. So we can see the borough is Bronx, the name is Wild Asia, right? So Wild Asia is present in the Bronx borough, Carvel Ice Cream, Happy Garden, Manem, Yankee, all the way down to African Market, Bourbon Cafe. They are all present in the Bronx borough, as you can see, confirmed. So let's go to number six. We're going to solve from 1 to 10. So number six is write a Mongo query to display the first five restaurants in the Bronx borough. Five restaurants, the first five. So you come in here. This introduces us to the next keyword, which is the limit keyword, right? The limit keyword. So you paste it in here. So what do you need to do? The same command as before, just include the limits function or the keyword. So limit stands for the amount of data you want, the count of data you want. So they said five. So the first five of this. So you come in here and you paste. So you see, initially we had a number of them. Now we have just five. One, two, three, four, and five. One, two, three, four, and five, right? So the top five, right? Morris Park, Wild Asia, Clavel Ice Cream, as you can see. Morris Park, Wild Asia. So the first five was what we got, which is this right here. Happy Garden was the last. Happy Garden here. So you can see an array of five restaurants was presented to us after using the limits function. Number seven. So write a Mongo query to display the next five restaurants after skipping first five, which are in the borough Bronx. So we'll come in here, the same command, copy, you paste, right? So the first five after skipping, right? So we're going to be using the skip command dot skip dot. So skipping the first what? Five. Let's see it again. Skipping the first five, right? Display the next five and skip the first five. So skip five and display five. So we're using a skip function for this. Skip five and the limits function, display five. Ctrl C, paste, run. Let's clear screen. Paste again, run. So we can see from here, right? We skipped the first five and we got the next five. This is it. So number eight. Number eight. Okay, my mouse is misbehaving. All right, write a Mongo query to find the restaurants who achieved a score more than 90. Score of what? More than 90. So we'll go to our structure again. How do we locate the score? So where is our score? Our score is present in the grades array. This is the grades array. Why? Because of the square brackets, right? The grades array. So how do we get to this score right here, right? So initially I told you that to access an object, right? To access a variable in an object or a key in an object, right? You use the dots notation, right? But in this case, this is an array, right? This is an array, right? So we can just use the dot notation, right? Right. So we're going to use a keyword called the lm match. The lm match. It's a keyword. lm mathl. So lm match means elements match. We're going to be matching something, right? So what are we matching? Based on this, what are we matching? We're going to be matching a Mongo query to find the restaurant whose score is more than what? 90. So we're going to be matching the scores more than what? 90. Let's copy that out and see. So when building queries here, it's important to note that we just don't build queries, right? We take it from scratch, individual parts, then we build up, right? We'll start from the smallest, then we build up. So what we're looking for is we're going to be looking for a restaurant whose grade score is more than 90, right? So let's tackle this for now. Score is what? More than 90. So this would be equivalent to saying you're creating an object, right? Then the score, SCORE, score is what? More than 90. So what does more than 90 stand mean? Greater than 90. So what is greater than 90 in the command? So that translates to this, right? Greater than 90. That will be GT, meaning greater than, then what's 90? So this is it. So score more than 90 is equivalent to what? Score greater than what? 90. So this is one object and this is another object, two in one. Score is more than 90. So more than 90, right, is a single object or a single comparison. Then score more than 90 becomes two. So score greater than what? 90. We have this already, right? So we're going to be using it together with the elements match, right? So let's do this. Let's get the original command, which is this. Then we build from there. You paste it in here. Then you said what? So we're saying we want a restaurant whose score is more than 90. So when we go back to our data structure, we can see that the score is not just standing alone, right? The score is present in the dates object, right, which is inside the grades key. So to access the score, what you need to do is to you need first of all you need to access the grades, right? So the grades, which is this. So we're gonna build that again. Grades, right? Control V. Grades. So what is the grades? The grades should match an element whose score is what? More than what? 90. That is where the elements match keyword comes into play. So we copy this out, then we do this, right? We open this again, then we paste it in here, do this. So whose score is what? More than 90. You copy this out, then paste it in here. Now you have the full request. So what this is saying is get us all grades, right? Whose element matches a score greater than 90. Get a restaurant whose grades matches a score greater than 90. So copy this out. Then we'll put it back in the original command, which is, let's do this. Copy this, cut this. So this is the final command. So we have to put this copy inside here. So this is our condition, right? So MongoDB locates our restaurant collection and find all restaurants whose grades matches a score greater than 90. Display the name and hide the object ID. So we'll come in here, copy. Let's clear this out first. Paste this, then run. Right? So we can see from here that this is it, right? So how do we confirm that all of these restaurants, these listed restaurants here, indeed have a score, a grade score greater than 90? How do we do it? Let's list the grade score. So let's add it in. Come in here. So how do we add the grade score? We go back to our data structure. So this is our grade, right? Then the score. So to locate it is grades dot score, right? So grades number one, copy. Score number two, copy. Come in here and edit the command right here. So grades first dot score. Go back to the end, copy. Come in here. Then you paste, you run. We got an error. Let's see. So let me pause this and figure this out. All right, so the issue was that we did not add the visibility of grades.score. So we come in here, we do this, make it one, then a comma, then we'll copy again. come in here, clear screen, paste, and run. So you can see, right? So what was the condition again? Greater than 90. Let me confirm this is recording. All right, beautiful. It's recording. All right. So we can see that the condition was what? All restaurants whose grades are what? Greater than what? 90. So we can see this contains a score more than 90. This as well, more than 90. And this as well, more than 90. So this command is correct. Number 9. We're almost there. Last one, we're done. Write a Mongo query to find the restaurants that achieved a score more than what? 80, but less than what? 100. Same thing. More than 80, less than 100. The same command. Copy, copy, come in here, paste. So more than 80, so greater than 80. This is it. 80, but less than what? So less than will be what? Dollar sign LT. Come out of here. Less than 100, right? More than 80, less than 100. More than 80, less than 100. Perfect. So we'll run this command. Ctrl C, copy, come in here, paste. So this is it. So we can see, let's confirm this. So whose score is what? Greater than 80, less than 100. So this is greater than 80 and it is less than 100. This is greater than 80 and it is less than 100. So we have just three of them, more than 80, less than 100. Perfect. And the very last command, and we're done. Number 10. Write a Mongo query to find the restaurants which locates in latitude value less than this. So latitude less than latitude lat less than this, right? So how do we get latitude? Go back to our structure. So our coordinates contains the latitude, which is this guy right here, right? So how do we get the latitude? We need to go from, remember, this is an object, right? So to locate this, we just use the address dot coordinates. Address dot what? Coordinates. So we copy the address out, we copy the code out. So we come in here, go back to the original command, which is this, copy, come back here, paste it in. So whose latitude is less than this? So we'll come in here, address, okay, address dot, sorry about this, address dot coordinates, right? So what are they saying? Latitude is less than, that will be LT. So what's the value? Right here, copy, paste. So MongoDB locates our restaurant collection and find all restaurants whose address dot coordinate is less than 95.754. Print out the name and print out and hide the ID. So we copy this out, copy, come in here, paste, see. So these are the restaurants whose latitude is less than what? 95 minus 95.75. Let's confirm that if that's true. So we come in here again and copy this out to print it out. Print, make it visible 1. Control C, copy, come in here, paste. So we can see, right? You can see that indeed the latitude is less than minus 95 because minus 101 is less than minus 95, minus 119, and minus 111. So these are all the solution to this, the very first 10 of this MongoDB exercise, right? So this wraps up our tutorial for today. Next time, we're going to be solving from 11, hopefully to 20, right? Thank you very much for your time, and peace.